so why would I
Hold on,
enjoy
let me
it?
go back a bit.
There's the whole thing of streets being paved often, and it stood out to me when I was visualized as a heaven and not how a god would actually create a heaven. Okay, this next one might sound silly to some, but it's actually one I think about pretty often, and it stood out to me when I was a Christian. The whole thing of streets being paved with gold. Why? I don't understand why that would matter in heaven. It's always been so strange to me, even as a Christian. And I'm not even someone who really cares about stuff like gold, so why would I enjoy it in heaven? At the very least, or very most, I just care about my jewelry not tarnishing. I just don't care about stuff like that or diamonds or anything. So it kind of like, to me, it's a very human concept, because they're not really thinking, oh, what if someone doesn't even give a single crap about this like materialistic stuff? What if someone hates the color of gold? That's part of their personality, is hating this kind of look. But it's so contradictory to me, because we're always told that you shouldn't value earthly and materialistic things or riches. And the only reason that gold is valuable on Earth is because it's rare, like relatively rare. So why is it valuable in heaven? I don't know what would make it valuable in heaven, besides the fact that people might just view it in a materialistic kind of way, that that's a symbol for status or whatever. It's very weird to me that we're being rewarded with materialistic objects. That messaging doesn't make a lot of sense if it's coming from a god who's beyond time and space. Again, to me, it seems like that's coming from a very human position of, that sounds good, who doesn't like gold? Like, who are we trying to impress with the paved roads with gold? Who is this for exactly? And also, I just kind of imagine it looking like Trump redecorating the White House with all of that gold that looks, in my opinion, very gaudy and tacky. To me, that's not the vision of paradise. That's not the vision of something so beautiful. It seems more, I don't know, it's like boring. Like, that's like earthly things. I just wouldn't care about that. And I need to put this disclaimer, because I know people will rush to my comments and be like, that's not what heaven really is. It depends on the Christian you ask. So if this isn't your interpretation of heaven, that's fine. Then I'm not talking about your version of heaven. But these are just different things I was told about heaven throughout my life. So if it doesn't apply to you, don't bother with it.
I bet. Let's go ahead and dibble and dabble in regards to that. So the scripture that she brings up in regards to this section is going to be, we're going back to Revelations chapter 22, verse 15 to 21. Let's check it.
Let's read it.
All right, verse 15 to 21. And the one who spoke with me had a measuring rod of gold to measure the city and its gates and walls. The city lies 4 square, its length same as its width, and he measured the city as a rod, 12,000 stadia. Its length and width and height are equal. He also measured its wall 144 cubits by human measurement, which is also an angel's measurement, which is interesting. Let's see. The wall was built of jasper. Here we go. This is the part that she's talking about. The walls were built of jasper, and the city was pure gold, clear like glass. The foundation of the wall of the cities were adorned with every kind of jewel. The first was jasper, the second sapphire, the third agate, then the fourth emerald, the fifth onyx, the sixth carnelian, the seventh chrysolite, the eighth beryl, the ninth topaz, the 10th chrysoprase. That's what I'm gonna go with. The 11th jacinth. I don't even know these stones. What the heck? And the 12th gates were 12 pearls, each of the gates made of a single pearl, and the street of the city was pure gold like transparent glass. Okay, so what are your thoughts in regards to, let's just do the same thing. What are your thoughts in regards to the verse? What are your thoughts in regards to, like, what is your opinion? We clearly heard from her stance that she would be bored, or she doesn't find heaven being made of gold to be very appealing, or like, oh yeah, I want to go to heaven type thing. So what are your thoughts when it comes to heaven? Does this appeal to you? Do you think heaven is to be more like the mountainsides of Montana, or the deserts of Egypt, or the jungle? Like, what you feeling?
Yo, there's like what the Bible's saying and what she's saying are literally saying two different complete things.
Mm-hmm.
The person that spoke to him was describing the dimensions of certain aspects of what heaven had, or somebody's rod, and the cubics and stuff like that. And it's like, I'm pretty sure they didn't put that in the Bible just for us to know the cubic measurements of, like, and the fact that the deities or the spiritual being's rod is equal in length, width, and height, just for the fun. Like, whatever's in there, there's a reason, and interpretation is what's blocking us from getting that true reasoning, right? And to leave that there, what she was saying about heaven and the golds, the roads of gold and stuff. Bro, if there are people telling her that you want to be in heaven because the roads are gold, we're cooked.
We're cooked.
Overly well done. Like,
that's exactly the point that I was gonna make up. Like, I understand, like, you're like, what is this about? But this shouldn't be like, I'm gonna decide to follow the faith because of the golds and the gold rows and all the rubies and stuff like that on the walls and whatnot. Yeah, I think that's a bigger situation there. I feel you.
Exactly. And that's mad weird to me, because if I was hearing it that way, bro, I don't care about materialistic things. And whoever's giving the message, whether it's a Sunday school teacher or the preacher on the pulpit, if you're trying to convince me that I want to be in heaven because, oh yeah, there's gonna be mansions, you're gonna get gifts, this, that, and the third. That's just not. That's not a proper is an understatement, bro. Like, it's not sound. It's not biblically sound. I know that for sure, and it's not productive whatsoever.
Yeah. I think we shouldn't be looking at that as a means towards wanting to learn God, wanting to know God. Like, this has absolutely nothing to do with salvation. It's just a matter of an imagery. And I just read up a little bit in verse 9, the one of the 7 angels that came down to John, and that was telling him and showing him all this and the measurements and whatnot. So yeah, to your point, this is just a writing, a recording from what John seen, and it was just written down. Doesn't hold. I think the one thing I will say that's definitely kind of important that we could stab at with this is that, like, with the Old Testament, when we look at Deuteronomy and the measurements, the specific measurements that God had gave the Israelites when it comes to building the temple, that was very, very specific. So the fact that we're in here in verse 16 talking about the city lies at 4 square, its length the same as its width, the measurement of the city was with his rod, with the angel's rod, 12,000 stadia, whatever that is. Let me see, oh my God. So I just looked at the little exclamation thing that it has here, about 1,380 miles. A stadium was about 607 feet or 185 meters. Hold on. So which part? Hold on. Okay. One stadion. Okay. Oh, yeah. So one stadion is about 607 feet. So 12,000 is equal to 1,380 miles. This city is. One city.
In heaven. One city in heaven.
in city. Yeah, one city in heaven. So let me see. Let's see from east. All right, let me ask. Oh, let me ask Claude. Claude be giving me all the information that I need. Hold on real quick. Let's go home new. All right. How long is the U.S. from east to west? The continental U.S. spans roughly 2,800 miles. So this one city is about half the size of U.S., which is intense. But these are given specific measurements.
Yeah, and then honestly, they're focused on one city.
Yeah.
To give us, like, they're giving us insight on just a section of what heaven is. Everything is intentional, and I know it's not just to know about the measurements. There's something symbolic behind that information. Also, trying to equate heaven, or trying to say heaven is less than how we're viewing it, or trying to minimize heaven by saying the Bible is, or Christians are describing it using human terminology and human or earthly, like, material things. That's disingenuous to me, because everything we know has to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
The whole idea of having cities and countries
They came from somewhere. Yeah.
Came from heaven. Like, it's the ultimate influence. There's nothing new under the sun, is what we say. But under God, what do you think? If there's nothing new under the sun, the sun learned everything from God.
Definitely not new under God. There ain't nothing that you're gonna tell God that's something that He doesn't already know.
Exactly. So just because you hear there's things in heaven that sound like earth to you, like, bro, that doesn't mean heaven's not what you. Heaven isn't heaven. It might not be what you think it is or thought it was, because they romanticize the idea. But it's going to be more familiar than not. So, in my opinion, now I'm speaking opinions. I lost my train of thought. I was going to say something else, but that's it.
Nah, you good. Let's go ahead and hop on to this next session that you got here. This one's gonna be interesting because he's talking about loved ones and trying to remember them or not remember them based off of what the scripture says. Let's go ahead and check that out.